Hello folks, I'm Joe Crawford. Today I'm going to do some old CSS battles. These are daily targets from October 14th, 15th, and 16th of 2023. Let's get started. So this is a kind of an interesting pattern in a lot of ways. I like to do ones like this using 5 elements rather than going with a pattern, because it seems like the symmetry works out pretty well. So each one of these is just slightly different, and I can create a variable to modify how it looks. So let's start with that. All right, so I think the right way to do this, and we'll find out. So I'm going to do the first, so let's see, background. Now we're going to border, solid, and then that color. And then I'm going to set border width to 0 for top and bottom, and 40 for the other sides. Now, I also need a height of 50, let's say. So something like that. So let's do a margin of 0. Let's see if we can get the right numbers there. So we need to use margins on the sides. So I think that we can use, do all the margins here. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 65, 66, 67. There it is. And I guess we do need a margin top. We do 20, 30, 25. All right. We'll just set a margin 0 for there. Okay, so flailing. There we go. So now we have 5 elements. They all have identical border widths. And so we're going to set this as a variable. I'll call that W. And so for each one of these, it's just slightly different. So I got to get the top ones right for top and bottom, which is the default paragraph tag. So that's what? 50, 0 and 50. There it is. All right. So for the B, we'll attribute B. So that's the second one and fourth one. We're going to do dash dash W of 0 and 100. There it is. And then lastly, we're going to do, so we got the interesting one here. I think that what we do is we change our border color. Yeah, or we set a background of that color and then border color of the light green. And we have it. So each one of these is its own particular kind of a thing. Not too bad. Is it the best way to do that? I don't know. Maybe. Let's variabilize the border color. And then we can set a dash dash C. And then we minify, replace, and resubmit. Lots of ways to do this one. This is a fun one, but it's a good exercise to do ones like this. So when you see a square like this with a cutout, I mean, that's also a conic gradient. Conic gradient with that color of 25%, and then the rest of the color is the darker color, and that's a simple square. So many patterns, all the patterns. All right, this is a fun one. All right, so I think again, This one is going to be all background. So what's that look like? Let's create a radial gradient. That's a circle that starts, actually we're going to start it at transparent. And then in the background, we're going to have this blue so we can see the contrast that's here. So that's what you get with a radial gradient circle, transparent, a color, and then a background color, default color. So this is considered the background color, right? And this is the background image, is what a radial gradient actually is. All right, so let's set some sizes. So that's sort of in the fog right now. Let's do 40% and 0. How about 50%? 50% looks dead on. That feels right? Fills the screen. All right, so next we're going to need that blue color. Is it 60%? So actually, hold on. Silly. We actually wanted transparent, then blue. Transparent, then blue. 40, and then it's 50% here. Ha ha ha. Okay, so let's remove that. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. So what's this number? 50% is the hard edge of so the internal color we need to adjust. So what is that? 38. 38. I think that's a match. So we'll take that. We'll take that. The hard part here is this cutout, right? And the question is, how do we want to do that? We could do it with an element that's turned at an angle, but I think that what I want to do, like I said, I'm going to do a conic gradient in the background. Let's do a conic gradient, and our conic gradient starts at the top, right? Comes around, so it's from 135 degrees, and then let's call that constrain that. So we want a transparent. Actually, no. Yeah. So yeah, we'll do. We'll see the blue, and then we'll see whether what we need to do is. I guess we're going to need two conic gradients, aren't we? Because we've got this line and then this lower line. So let's do the lower line first. I know that we can do this vertical line later. That's going to be the simplest part of this. So let's do this one, which is at 50% and I don't know, 75%. So we'll do the front. So we're trying to put that point right here. Maybe that's more like 60. I know I'm writing code and not showing anything, so that lacking that feedback loop is definitely on the tricky side. So we're going to start with that color, and I think that's 90 degrees, so that's 25%. Yeah. So does that align? 58, 57, 56, 57.1. There it is. Okay, so 57.1%. See that nice line? Let's go 0. All right, so that's what we got now. So we got that particular color. So I think that all we really want is that color at this point. So this color is the part that matters. The rest can be transparent. So we're happy with that slice. Next, we're going to do the blue, which is behind that and a little higher. So it's basically the same thing again, but with a different top position, the Y value of, so let's move that up. There it is. So let's go 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 0.1, 0.2, up to 2.9. That looks good. I like that. And then lastly, we are going to want, so let's go ahead and put that color in there. So the last thing we need is at this second layer. So we've got multiple layers here. So these are the two layers. And then that's the circle layer. And so in between, we want a linear gradient that goes left to right. So that's 90 degrees. And I want it to be transparent. It's like 40%, and then blue, 60%, and then transparent again with a hard edge. So those numbers are wrong. How about 45? And 46% over, 47% over, 46. 1, 2, 2. Okay. We could use pixels here. The fact that we're getting nice hard edges with percentages is because, if this is 150 pixels, 150px is just as long as 46.2%. So let's decrease this to 50, 52.4.8, 3.8. That would be the 100 minus 46.2. Let's try it out. We'll submit and see if we get 100%. Got a little cold here, so I sound a little bit different, but I'm still managing to write code that's okay. So I take that as a sign of health. I'm going to unit replace, but I don't think I've got any units that can be replaced. I don't have any pixel units that can be replaced with view width or view height numbers. Those are new scores. Those are high scores for me, and they're 100% matches as well. All right, next. This one's a bit of a puzzle. It seems straightforward to get that shape, but then what do we need to do to get this other part? I feel inclined to have a body. What do I feel inclined to do? I might do this a weird way. Let's see what we can do as a weird way. Let's see what shape we can create. We can border, solid, that light blue. I'm gonna say 20 pixels. Maybe it's 25. That's okay. And then a background of purple. And right, what I would like to do, yeah, okay, so here we go. Set that, and actually what I want to do is I want to set a nice contrasting color on the background. So what I'd like to do is narrow this element down nicely. So let's go 3, 4, 6, 7, 75, 65, 66, 67. And that's all wrong. I want to go even more. I would like this to adhere to this. So this is what I'm trying to create. I think that I want 25 pixels there, don't I? Yeah, 25 pixels is good. All right, so even narrower. So 90, 50. And maybe that was a bad idea. All right. Move down into the black zone where we get the contrasting colors nice and dark. 8, 7, 8, 9. There we go. 105. There we go. Okay, so now our height is too tall. How about 40? Down 440. There we go. Okay, so then if we add the background back, the contrast, that's pretty good. I think that means that this is 30 pixels, that border. Let's see how that looks. That's good. And how about a 30 height? All right. I like that. I actually like that. And then I want another one. I'm kind of curious if I can make that second one. So I'm going to transform it. Actually, you know what I can do? Can I transform it such that it is, it will adhere? I need to rotate it first. So rotate 90 degrees. This is a weird way to do it. So the second one is rotated. And then how about translate, which means to move it. So we're going to move it 0 and then vertically first. How's that for weird? Oh, and then this technique is not great, is it? Not super great, because we've still got that problem of the overlay. This purple, maybe not the best idea. Definitely not the silly idea. So maybe there's the argument that, Joe, you have a cold and you're not totally thinking clearly. But that's okay. What can we do? Do we want to rethink the whole way we do this is the question. We might, to get that T. Oh. I find myself a little bit at a loss. So yeah, so this is definitely the cold, maybe the cold medicine. Let's see. All right. Okay. So the second one, if we set the border width, so let's undo that, and then let's actually set our border width to 0 and 30 pixels. Or is it 30 pixels and 0? And then we translate that up a little bit more, 85, and then we got it. Look at that. That's not bad. It's a little odd. It's a peculiar way to do this. And then for me, again, my favorite conic gradient, we do a conic gradient here, which is going to be this light blue color, 75%, and then the dark blue color, I got pasted the correct dark blue color, 0. And then we need to move that into place. But first we need an at that represents the height and width of the darkness behind our figures there. So that's going to be, what, 100 pixels over, actually no, 100 pixels over, 50 pixels down, something like that. That's too small. 200 pixels over, and 100 pixels down. How about 140, 220, and then we move it over. Okay, and down. Now we gotta move that around. So if we can move this, if we can get the top and left edges into place, then we're gonna be pretty happy with this technique. Peculiar as this technique is. 75, 75. And then we change this at value, which is the center of that conic gradient. If you're still visualizing that. 3, 4, 5, boom, and 5. Oh, that's interesting. little edge there. I don't know if that diff is significant. We got 75. Let's submit and see if we got 100%. I'm hoping that we do, but there's a little diff. Part of that diff is okay. So that's 100%. That's some artifact of the conic gradient, because again, that conic gradient is going around 270 degrees, 75%, and then is a hard edge. And in theory, that's parallel to your bottom of your screen, right? Perpendicular to the size of your screen. But in the reality of the math of the, however the video card is doing what it does. So let's replace with minify. I think we're done. Not the most efficient way to do this one for sure, but an enjoyable way to do it. I enjoy doing the transform, translate. You can also do this rotate 90 degrees using rotate colon 90 degrees. No, interestingly, it has a different effect. So part of the transform is that they're applied in series. So if you rotate something and then translate it to move it, the prior action affects the second action. So sometimes you get a translate and a rotate. If you do them in different orders, you get different results. And so in this case, it looks like the rotate is not behaving the same way, so we're going to not do that. That's no good. But that's a fun reminder that the rotate itself as a CSS property is different from the rotate that's going to happen in this transform, because the order in which that's going to occur is going to be different. And I'm not sure how the CSS specs say those should be applied, but that's an exercise for you. All right, thanks for watching. Sorry if my voice was annoying. I'm going to take some cold medicine. Have a great day. Bye-bye.